In today's lesson, we're going to cover facts with the number 5 in them. And we're going to use counting on and a tens frame to help us as we're solving those problems. Remember, this is just one strategy that you might use as you're adding. There's lots of other strategies that can work with you, but we want you to have something that helps you feel successful, and we, as mathematicians, we want to have more than one strategy we can use. So let's take, for example, the number sentence 5 plus 3. If I'm trying to solve this, some of us are able to automatize, and we know automatically or right away that the sum or answer is 8. But that doesn't work that way for everybody. And so I'm going to show you a strategy that if automatizing isn't quite there yet for you with facts with 5, then we can help you solve that. We have a tool. So one way to do that is to use a tens frame. So as I'm using a tens frame, I know right away that in a tens frame, we have 10 spaces, so there's 5 at the top and 5 at the bottom. So if I fill up this top row, then I know that I have 5 automatically. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right away, I have 5. Now from there, I can use some counting on. So in my head, if I'm thinking about that tens frame with the first top row filled in with 5, I can start counting on 5, 6, 7, 8. I can also think of this on a tens frame and actually add 3 more onto my tens frame. So I already have my 5. I'll add 3 more, 1, 2, 3. I can use that to help me count on, or I can also see on the tens frame that I have all but 2 of them filled in, which I can tell is going to be 8. So either way, counting on or filling in your tens frame and looking at it that way, I can tell that 5 plus 3 is 8. Let's look at one more example. It doesn't matter what order we add in, so we know with the commutative property that if 5 is in the second place, I could start there or I could start at 1. It doesn't matter which order I add in. I always like to add from the biggest number because it helps me get there more quickly. It gets me to the sum quickly. And since we're working with 5 today, you want to start with the 5. So again, if I do 1 plus 5, I have my tens frame. It's already filled with the 5 on the top. So I have 5 right away. I can put 1 more, and looking at the tens frame with the 1 more on there, I can tell that I have 6. If I'm using counting on, I can picture that tens frame and start at 5, count on 1 more to 6. 5, 6. So counting on and using your tens frame are both easy ways to help you with these facts with 5, to know that 1 plus 5 equals 6. Let's take a look at your job to show that you have understanding of using a tens frame and counting on. Here we have our work for today. We're going to be using the tens frame to help yourself learn facts with 5, and then also practicing writing the addition facts up and down like this. So you can see in the first example here, we have 5 plus 1. 5 was drawn first. We put an extra 1 on there for the 1 here in the equation, and we can see that 5 plus 1 equals 6. We know that we can write it horizontally like this, or we can write it vertically, 5 plus 1 equals 6. And that's fine to do either one. Today I want you to practice writing both. So if we look at number 1 as an example, I see 5 plus 2 equals blank. I'm going to always start with the 5, so I'm going to put 5 on my tens frame and drawing that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 more, so I'm going to use a different color, maybe not color these ones in as much, to add 2 more on the tens frame. 1, 2. I can see that either by counting on or by looking at the tens frame that I have 7. So 5 and 2 more, 5, 6, 7. Or I see that there's 3 blank spots in the tens frame, so I know that that would be 7. Next, I have to fill in my equation. So 5 plus 2 equals 7. Then I'm going to write it vertically or up and down. So it was 5 plus 2 equals 7. You would continue for all of the problems that are listed on the page, and then there is a story problem on the bottom for you to solve. If you can't read the story problem on your own, then you may whisper to a neighbor to help them read that to you. As always, if you need to watch the video more than once, then that's a-okay. Always good to watch it more than once if you don't have a full understanding. When you're finished with your job, you can look up at the board for your next must-do, and please make sure that your name gets on your paper and it's turned into the turn-in bin when you are finished.